Hey, it's Chronologically Gaming, the only channel that's perpetually retro because we're playing every video game in order of release. We are knee-deep in video games sometime in October 1982.
Stafford. Yay!
And we were on the Jupiter Ace last time. Oh my goodness, what just happened? Come back. Come back. We were last on the Jupiter Ace playing Planet of Death, or maybe we were, maybe we weren't. Depends on if it was really released at this time. So you be the guys and let me know in the comments if it really was or was not. All right, so after Planet of Death, let's see what our next game is. Oh, we're next going to play on the Dragon 32. This is Poseidon Adventure. Yes, Poseidon Adventure. Not the very first time we've seen the motif for the Poseidon Adventure, you know, the movie, you can see on the left side, or the book from 1969, but this is the only video game, to my knowledge, that is named the Poseidon Adventure based on the movie or the book Poseidon Adventure of all video games. So let's crack it open and see what it's like. Hopefully it doesn't turn out like that to us. Here's the box for Poseidon Adventure. The Dragon 32 cassette cases still impress, and this one's no exception. This is exactly what it sounds like. If you saw the movie and you want to play a disaster video game, this is it. And it has no royalties to the movie or the book, to my knowledge. They just slapped this on a game and then went with it. And we get to play it. So besides the box, we also have the cassette. We're going to pop into our Dragon 32 to play. And this could have been released slightly later. At least that box version was later, but this is the first time you could play the Dragon 32 version. The manual will tell us how to play Poseidon Adventure. Yes, welcome to Dragon. Dragon Data is here. Welcome to Poseidon Adventure. Poseidon Adventure is an adventure game which you are aboard the luxury liner SS Poseidon. A huge undersea earthquake has caused a tidal wave, which has capsized the ship. It's floating bottom up on the surface and taking on water. Your goal is simply to get out alive, and it's just like the movie. It shows us how to load Poseidon Adventure, and then explains that this is two-word commands. We've seen the two-word text parser before. Verb and noun like open door, get chair, go north, go door, and so forth. We have an inventory, we have a help, and we have quit, and I think that's all we need to play. Here's Poseidon Adventure for the Dragon 32 by Bill Cook and Debbie Cook. Published by Dragon Data at sometime in October 1982. Now, this one I have to do a little finagling because we have, once again, a very strange RAM issue whenever we play it. Not sure why, but we're going to boot this up. This one runs in BASIC, so we have to load a few commands, and then I'm going to fast forward through the loading so we don't have to wait too long. Ooh, cool sound effects. The SS Poseidon. A luxury cruise ship's been hit by a massive tidal wave caused by a great undersea earthquake. The huge ship has been capsized. Yes, the objective is simply get out alive. So it's an adventure game where you just have to survive, obviously through puzzles, getting through different things. You'll have a limited number of moves to get before the ship goes down, depending on your selected skill level. Ordinary English, two-word commands, verb and noun, like get chair, blah, blah, blah. Got it for adventure games. We've seen this quite a bit. This marks our 211th text adventure game we've played on the show. So we're no stranger to text adventure games. And we can also use single letters like north, south, east, and west, too. That's very nice. And they also have help and inventory if we ever get stuck, and I'm sure we will. Remember to think logically, and good luck. Remember, it's all about your brain power. If you're not smart enough for the game, you probably shouldn't play these adventure games. At least that's how I felt when I played them at the time. All right, so we can keep loading, which means I'm going to fast forward again. We're not waiting for this cassette to go. There it is. Nice. This one marks our 28th game we played for the Dragon 32. And the 11th game that Dragon Data has brought us. We are professionals here, so our skill level is going to be expert. We're in the ballroom. Exits are 40 feet above, so it's letting us know as we make our way up high, go higher and higher, we'll get closer and closer to the top. Yeah, it must be from the United States. Yeah, because even though this was released on by Dragon Data, I'm wondering if the developers were that way, Curtis. All right, so obvious exits are west and east. Let's go ahead and go to the west. So I just have to type W to go, which is nice. You're below a small entrance of carved marble columns, and we can see debris. Look closer at the debris. And it says, look, we can see more. We have to examine the debris, and we can see a flashlight now. So go ahead and get that flashlight. Does it recognize all of it? Most of these two-word text parsers, you don't have to type the whole word in. Or some of them are really long words. Some of them only understand the first 4 letters, and it works great. Yeah, right? How do you do a text adventure game with skill levels? Well, I believe they're taking different puzzles in and out of the game. But great question, Marshall, I'm sure. Yes, we should, Palpuck, if we ever see one, if we can survive. This is all Leslie Nielsen's fault. All right, so after we get the flashlight, let's go ahead and head east. Kind of back in the ballroom where we were. And from here we can see a chair. Let's go ahead and... Can we take the whole chair? Yes, we can. We'll take the whole chair. Sure. Keep on going east. Notice they're splitting it up too. The adventure game, Scott Adams Adventure Games did this, and a few others do it, but I like how they don't have all the text on the screen. It reminds me of old school text adventure games. The split actually is kind of nice. Oh, that's true, Curtis. Yeah. All right, so we can see we're now in the below entrance of the long passageway. We can see a sign. What does the sign say? Read it closely. It says some objects may be used. Well, great. That's helpful. By the way, what happens if I type help? I might lose points, but we'll try it anyway. I'm just as confused. Help is no help. Maybe help is in certain situations, like wherever you are in that room, then you can say help. But that's funny because most adventure games, when you say help, it actually has helpful information, like examples of what you can type in. This is not helpful. That's just comical. Yeah. All right. So after that, let's go ahead and drop the chair. So we have a long passageway. We drop the chair right by the sign, and let's go ahead and use the flashlight. And I bet if I can just say flash, it'll work, right? Yes. So we use the flashlight, and we can now see a cable. So you had to know to drop the chair here, even though there's nothing that tells you to drop the chair. Use the flashlight, and now we can see there's a cable here. All right, so let's go ahead and use the chair now. And after we use the chair, that means we're on the chair. I wonder if we could have tried climb the chair. I don't know if that would work or not. That'll work too. Maybe that'll work, Marshall. Hold our breath, and then we'll win. As long as we can swim our way out. All right, so now let's climb the cable. Okay, you've made it up to the next level. And they give us a little music. You're in the dark and damp intersection of hallways. The reason I'm excited about music is in adventure games, music is very far between. So if I can get any little music, it ramps the enjoyment of the game up. All right, we're in the dark intersection of hallways. After that, let's go ahead and head north. Lots of exits, though. We're in the dispensary. We can see a beaker and a painting. All right, let's go ahead and get beaker. Pick it up. By the way, this is only on the Dragon 32. You cannot find this game anywhere else. So what you're experiencing is only if you have the Welsh Micro. All right, so we should look at this closer. Look, beaker. Does that work? It contains liquid vitamins. I'm going to go against my better judgment and eat vitamins. Oh, if I can spell it right. Maybe it'll still work. You don't have it. Oh, take vitamins. Take vitamins? You can't. What about drink? Drink vitamins since it's liquid. You feel somewhat strange. We can drink the vitamins. I wonder if it gives us superpowers. All right, so now that we've done that, if you examine the beaker, I'm sure I've done it in the wrong place. I wonder if the vitamins make us breathe underwater or hold our breath longer or something like that. Okay, we're now in the dark intersection of the hallway, kind of where we were before. Let's head east this time. Yeah, right? The obvious exits is almost like they're badgering us. It's obvious you can go this way and that way. Does that mean there's other exits, if they say that? All right, so we have a huge galley, or in the huge galley area now, the steam spewing out all around you. We can see food, a cleaver, and a fire extinguisher here. Whoa. All right, so and that's where we'll put the stop on Poseidon Adventure. I'm sure we could play more and experience more, but you get the idea of what the text adventure is like. The one drawback for this one is there is no save function. When you play this, you have to go all the way through. It isn't an extremely long playthrough when you consider all the other text adventures out there, but I got to give it the nod of saying the save feature for adventure games is a must-have right now. And it's pretty simple. You take the cassette out, you put a cassette in, and you save. So I'm going to go 2.5 stars of all the games you can be playing right now across all home computers. Poseidon Adventure is the only time that a video game is called Poseidon Adventure based on that movie or book, but 2.5 stars for Poseidon Adventure. Yes. All right, now let's see what our next game release is. After that disaster, let's go to the TRS-80 color computer. The same computer, just, you know, from the United States, for the most part. This is Rail Runner. Rail Runner is our newest game, and all we have is the advertisement from Computerware that tells us all about the games they've been releasing. And I think even some software you can see down at the bottom. They have Megapede. That's a good one. Check out Megapede if you haven't seen it already. And then Doodlebug, Shark Treasure. So a few of these we've already seen on the show. This is the 9th game that we've seen by Computerware, and Rail Runner is the newest one. There's an example of the screenshot. This one's available also for the Dragon 32, but we won't be showcasing it or seeing the Dragon 32 version. So what you see here of Rail Runner is the only one you're going to get. Let's pop in Rail Runner to play. This is by B.J. Chambliss, published by Computerware at sometime in October 1982. This is B.J. Chambliss's 3rd game after Storm and Pac-Tac. Storm was the very first time we saw anything Tempest-like that you could play at home. Pretty fun. All right, so let's load this up. Rail Run. I'm ready to play Rail Runner. This is our 149th game we've played for the Coco. 149 games of enjoyment. All on green backgrounds. Well, I say that, and Rail Runner isn't running on green. All right, so to play this, you push Enter to begin, I believe. Yeah, Enter. Cool, there it goes. So you can actually control this. You can move down levels 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to start at level 1, though. You can see you can go down to 2. All I'm doing is tapping the keyboard. I've tried joystick. Joystick does not work for this one. So keyboard controlled only. Unless, I'm sure you could mod it to change. But this is another example of one of those games that is running slowly because there's so much happening on the screen. And in modern times, you would poke this. If you had all the pokes back then, you would be able to, you would want to poke this game because it's very, very slow. So you can see I'm at the top, moving my way 1 level at a time. If you come across one of the railway carts, which are yellow and pink, then you're safe. But if you touch any of the red carts, then you will die. So I am already, and I've already lost a life. It's essentially like we're playing a very slow version of Frogger. It is, I want to say, even when we played Freeway, which is kind of like Frogger, you know, making yourself across the street with as a chicken. This is you moving across the street, but you have to go. You have the freedom to move left and right. You couldn't do that in Freeway. Whoa! If you take too long, they give you a game over. That's terrible. All right, we'll have to go again. Oh, we can actually put our initials in, right? There, the high score with 100 points. Keyboard only, that's crazy. I have my analog joystick plugged in. Why doesn't it work, everyone? So the beginning of the game is flashing a little attract mode showing you the difference between the train and the handcar and so forth. So let's go in again. Something felt so slow, though. The response time was just bad. So let me go in again. I'm hitting enter to go in. I got to remember about that timer, too. All right, so let's go in. I got to do level 1. If I can't even pass level 1, I don't think I should try level 2. Any time now. There. The response is so quirky and crazy. So this is obviously a Frogger-style game. This is the 26th game we played that's like Frogger, and it's not very good. I say that you can go left and right compared to examples of Freeway, but Freeway is more fun than this. Freeway runs faster, but Freeway is also console. The slow response and the lag is really what's bringing this down, because I'm trying to use the cursor keys to move quickly. Yeah, it feels so delayed. Like even my response to move left and right. So I got to go down in the bad range for all the games you'd be playing right now. There's another game we played on the Coco called Frog Trek, which was a side view frog where you're moving across the street. But this one's in the same range as Frog Trek. I was not impressed with the slowdown. This one's just as bad. Oh, gosh. And you have to do the time limit? Why put a time limit in the game when it's already running so slow? And if you haven't already, Curtis, I'm sure you can throw the pokes out there. But the game itself needs to be sped up. Whenever I'm using the keyboard, it is not responding. It feels like slow as molasses. So I wouldn't say this is bad as some of those other 1-star Frogger games we played on the show, but it's still bad. Of all the games you could be playing right now on home computers, I still enjoy the graphics mode and the way these games look on the Coco and Dragon 32. It's still fun, looks great, but man, the gameplay is not so good. Yeah, not a lot of ideas either, Richard, of pushing the Frogger style game forward. There's a lot out there, and we could be playing better Frogger games than this one. All right, so Rail Runner, of all the games you could be playing across all home computers, I'm going to say bad for all the titles you could play. I've already seen over in the chat 2.5 stars. I see that's from before. Yeah, keyboard only. So the ratings I was looking at was the 2.5 for the Poseidon Adventure. For Rail Runner, I'm going to go even lower of all the games you could be playing. This is around the bad range. So I'm going to say, so far of all the games, 1.5 stars. Rail Runner is too slow to respond. You would have some enjoyment if this was the very few games you had only for the Coco. And I can understand if you have a soft spot for Rail Runner, but no, I'm going to go lower. Richard's with me with 1.5, and then Curtis is saying 2. Oh, yeah, and it depends on the ROM. Yeah, Curtis, it might be different. All right, and without further ado, let's see what's next. Our next release takes us to the Atari VCS. The best VCS, in my opinion, that you could play right now, or the best console you could play. This is RealSports Volleyball, the newest release for your Atari. Let's check it out. RealSports Volleyball. Oh, they're bringing back the RealSports we've already seen on the show. This is the second RealSports in the series. The last one we saw was baseball for the Atari VCS. It didn't fare too well, but the artwork is awesome. Looks like classic Atari. The RealSports series did a great job. Man, so good. This one's only available on the Atari. It's not found anywhere else. Some of the other RealSports titles, they get ported to the Super System, 5200, and other places. That's it we see for volleyball. It doesn't get any more real than this, Hunter. Look at that. The front of the box is so good. You flip it over the back. Do you like to play volleyball on the beach? Well, get out your suntan lotion and swimsuit, because this Atari RealSports Volleyball game offers a beach setting, the sea, the sand, and even a shark. Oh, and the sun. Yeah, if you wait too long on the game, a shark will show up in the background, which is kind of cool. What other artwork do we have for RealSports Volleyball? Oh, great. So just imagine going into the store and buying a brand new Atari game right now. That's what this is. This is the 153rd game we've played for the Atari. That's how many games you could be playing on that system. Atari's published 64. This is the 64th published game for their own home console. Man, oh man. So there's the cartridge for RealSports Volleyball. This one's another one by Bob Polero and Alan J. Murphy. They recently did Defender, which was also on Atari. Great port of Defender. And let's see what they do with volleyball on the Atari. All right, so, oh, look at that. Oh, so good. Majority of the artwork that we get for Atari could be a poster in the background. I just want to bask in how good this is. So much fun. Yeah, we need to get that coupon and send it in, Marshall. So here's the manual for RealSports Volleyball. I'm just going to breeze through a few highlights. If you want to, you can always pause the video if you're in the middle of playing RealSports Volleyball and want to look at the manual. So there's our table of contents. Oh, the artwork continues. The manual is doing so many good things. Hope you're ready for a good hard workout. Time to play volleyball. This is a special volleyball game, and we'll get into it when we play the game. It is patterned after traditional volleyball. The objective is to win by scoring 15 points, and they do rally scoring rules. So you have to be serving to get the points. And they explain over on the right side how serving works, and they have a few screenshots explaining what the ball looks like, the players, the net, but they really don't need the screenshots. It's like you can tell which ones are their players. You can tell where the net is, and you can tell where the ball is. I like how they point out, here's the sun. Just so you know, that's the sun right there. We know, we can tell. It's done very well. Graphics are great. This explains how hitting works. Whenever you play the game, you just have to move your player around and they will automatically hit the ball. If you want to spike though, that's where you have to hit the red button. And it's showing you the different spiking zones. And it plays by volleyball rules. You have to do 3 hits. So if you've never played volleyball, this will essentially teach you how to play volleyball. I don't know if you'd call it lore, Hunter. Sporting games don't have as much quote-unquote lore but the manual always has something good. So pause and read to your heart's content. The controller or the joysticks work in the way that you'd expect. Eight-way movements for all your players. You're controlling 2 people on either side of the court. When you play a 1-player game, you're controlling only 1 team, but both players at the same time. When you play a 2-player game, it's competitive only. So 2 people are against 2 people. You cannot play a 4-player game, sadly, even though we played 4-player games using the paddle controls. So here's the console controls. The difficulty switches do change the speed of players for the left and right side, so you can put handicaps in if you want. And game variations are, we have 1 player against the computer, 2-player games against each other, and then if you do games 3 and 4, you don't have to do the spike. The ball just automatically goes over the net. So it's kind of like an easy mode is games 3 and 4, and that's for 1 or 2-player. They break down the scoring for us right there, and they even have some game strategy. And I got to tell you, Bob and Alan did a really good job with the physics and the strategy of the game. This is an excellent sports game. Let's see when we play the game. So this is also available in Brazil, known as Super Volleyball, and in PAL regions. We're going to the first release. This is RealSports Volleyball by Atari at sometime in October 1982. Now, the first time we boot it up, it does what Atari does. It starts in attract mode. It's playing itself. And you can see it's just throwing the ball over. But I have to bask in this. This is the very first video game that is volleyball, and it's not Pong. We've played games that say they're volleyball, but they're Pong. It's, you know, moving a ball going back and forth. And the closest one we ever got has been like on the video pack on the Odyssey 2. That volleyball version had the Ed Averitt characters that he put on the system, and the characters were on the screen, but it was still, you just bounced the ball around, and it was still Pong. It was closer, but we've already played games that say that they're volleyball. This is the 6th game that says they're volleyball, but this is the very first video game across all platforms that's actually volleyball. Like, you are playing people that are using the physics of volleyball and playing the real sport of volleyball. It's so cool. There was a type-in game we played on Softside Magazine that was volleyball in November 1981, but oh my goodness, that was so bad. I give it 1 star. So if you want to see the Softside Magazine volleyball game, you'll understand why I say this one is the real deal. Real sports is true. This is there's no way to get volleyball anywhere else. You don't want to play it on the typed in version on the Atari. All right, so let's go ahead and go into the game. I'm going to do game mode 1 and reset. So you go and pick up the ball, and whenever it's time to serve, you notice whenever I move the joystick up and down, both players are moving at the same time. And then when I want to hit, I just hit the red button, pops over the top. When it comes to my side, I just have to get a player under the ball, and I don't have to push the red button at all. It does 1 hit, and it does another one, and when I want to spike, I got to get my player under and hit the red button. All right, so here we go. Let's do it again. Serve it at me. Computer hits. 1, 2, and spike that. Oh, he got it back. Okay, so he's coming over again when he spiked over. So you can play with whether it's going to be going up or going to be spiking. You can see they're going, I'm going to wait for it. They got another one in. Oh, they got out. So since they're serving, they're going to get all these points unless I can get it back. I got him. Nice. So we got the ball back. Back on serve side. Let's go right there. So they're using the Atari to its strengths as far as control-wise. What? How did I miss that? Alright, gotta get it back. We'll spike it and hit 1. Oh, I missed it again. So the other thing is the depth of your players. Like, notice when the ball comes up, we have a shadow that's telling you where to go. That's done really, really well. Okay, so we got it back on our side. Let's go ahead and hit it over. And you have to line up your player where the shadow is, looking at where you think it's going to be. Oh, and it went out. The way this looks is impressing me because it reminds me of when we played the game by Apollo. Like, it's called, I think it was Racquetball, where the 3D look of the court and the players are just really impressive for the Atari. I mean, you got to admit how good this looks for a beach volleyball game. Yeah, the sound's good. It's exactly like I expected volleyball to be. And it's not overbearing to play against the computer. It's not crazy difficult. The best experience is going to be whenever you play with another friend. But I like the AI for this one compared to some of the other sports games you could play. There you go. I spiked it over and psyched them out. Wait for it. Let's see. They're going for the third spike. Oh, it was a nimbly-pimbly one. Got him. So there's our first point. Looking pretty good. Play control is excellent. Now this one is going to be contending against the other games you could be... Oh, I got him. The other games you could be playing on sports titles across all home consoles, because there is no volleyball on home consoles to compare with. And some of the best ones you can be playing right now, sports title-wise, are things like boxing that you could play for the Intellivision, or boxing for the Atari VCS. This is really fun. I can see yourself spending a long time just playing with a computer, because it's a cool idea of being able to line up your players to hit the bounces in between, get the 3 hits and the spikes. And they explain in the manual the little nuance you can do with the volleyball, where you hit it and how you hit it, what's going to send it out of bounds and so forth. Oh yeah, good point, Hunter. The waves in the background. They didn't have to do that. That was just another extra programming little trick, because all they needed to produce was volleyball. That's it. I'll also notice the ball. Is the ball moving, like squishing, or is it staying the same shape? So while we did play sort of volleyball for the Atari, like the type-in one, this is the true volleyball, and it's very impressive how... Oh, ace, nice. How this is the very first volleyball game, and it's done so well. Looking good. So you got to go 15 points, then you win. The other game variation means that you don't have to hit the ball. You don't use the red button at all. I think that was going out. I could have let that out. And depending on when you hit the red button, you can time spikes in different ways. So it has a lot of versatility, and there's no competition. There was, right now there's no volleyball, for example, on Intellivision, trying to outdo Atari. This is the only one. Oh, he got us. Come on, come on. Go on there. Nice. So good. Oh, is the sun? It is. It's going down as we play. It's a heated match on the Atari. Got him. All right, got it back. Let's get some points in here. It doesn't offer competitive, or I should say team play, or cooperative play, which means me and a friend cannot play on the same side. You have to play competitively whenever you join in with a friend. They would control the 2 red players, another ace, awesome, and you would control the 2 blue players. And no, it is not the first game with a day and night cycle. We've seen it before. We're looking good. And yeah, the variations in this one just allow you to play 1 or 2 player competitively, simultaneously, or you can change the game mode to be easier. So right now I'm playing on the normal mode, where I can use the red button to spike and hit the ball. So it doesn't offer a lot of variations, but the game, what the game has is very, very good. I won't go all the way to the end, but I do know if you wait long enough, there should be a shark that shows up at the back. They kind of alluded to it on the box, but a nice touch. So this is competing against all the other sports games you could play across all home consoles right now. I mentioned boxing, but some of the other good ones that you could play right now would be like football on the Astrocade, ice hockey by Activision on the VCS, Trick Shot by Imagic, the pool game, Racquetball was the one I mentioned by Apollo, is really good, and then tennis on the Creative Vision, as well as all the stuff on Intellivision, you know, baseball, hockey, bowling. There's a lot of other games, but this sports game is done very, very well. So I'm looking over the chat. I'm seeing Ubicore throwing out a 5-star rating, which means it's he's saying it's one of the best you can play across all home consoles. Some other 4 stars out there. Yeah, so if you think of all the video games across all the home consoles right now you could play, I actually would consider this easily a 4. So I'm going to go with 4 stars. I wouldn't call it one of the best just because there is other video games and sports games that I would say is like the best thing you could play. I wouldn't go to the nod and say this is the best video game you could play across all home consoles. Hunter's there with a 4.5 though. So yeah, very, very fun. More fun with a second player. You got to have that too. Man, but great showing and very strange. We went from Real Sports Baseball, which was ugh, to this, which is so much fun. This has lots of replayability and one of the best sports games you could play right now on the Atari. All right, now we got to put a video game playing on pause, or if we're on the Atari, you just turn the thing off because resetting is not going to do anything. I've been brought to a lot of people asking me about how I find release dates for all these games, and a lot of times it's very difficult because I try to find magazines, news articles to pin down when the game is first mentioned and when it's released, because there's a big difference between when it was programmed and when you can actually have it in your hands. You know, developers would play it, but when did the commercial release, when did you get the game that you could play it? So there is a few variations of, you know, when you could have actually gotten the game. So just bear in mind, the games we're playing right now is at the end or at some time in October 1982, just because we don't know exactly when in October these games came out. All right, so tune in next time on Chronologically Gaming. We have snakes everywhere. Snakes in the sea, snakes on consoles, and snakes on home computers. That's it for today, and like I always say, retro is inevitable. All the brand new games you are playing today will eventually be retro. Hey everybody, thanks for checking out the channel and joining me on my quest to play every single video game in order of release. We'll be streaming live every weekday at 9 p.m. Central, so join us and let us know if we missed any games along the way. This video would not be possible without Launchbox, RetroArch, and MAME. Tell all your friends there's some crazy guy named Chronologically Gaming trying to play every single video game. We have links down below that'll send you to places like our Discord and Patreon, and one that says all the video games we've ever played. If you go there, it's a list of everything, and you can click right to the game you want to see. Chronologically Gaming is the name to look for. We are perpetually retro, and we will catch you next time.